What is up, Republic of Gamers? Hello, and welcome to ROG Pulse, your weekly gaming and tech podcast. My name is Jake Kalinsky. This week, we've got Jeff Kampman for a honestly, a bittersweet final episode as an ROG employee, Jeff.
Yeah. So I wasn't going to lead off with that, but
Sorry. Gotcha.
I guess we are. So it is a very bittersweet for me, but this is my final show on ROG Pulse as an ROG staffer.
At least, yeah. Because you are moving on to some new stuff.
Yeah.
So, do you want to announce where you're going? It's up to you.
Yeah, I've tweeted about it, so I suppose I can talk about it. So I'm headed over to Intel. On the Intel graphics team. As everybody knows, Intel is working on a discrete graphics processor called Arc. And I'm going to do some technical marketing for them. So you'll probably see me around in the industry, but yeah, that's where I'm headed.
You're the second close coworker I've had leave at Asus and the second one to go to Intel. Great. They're all jumping ship. Now, congratulations, Jeff. It's really awesome. I'm really excited to see what you do. And hopefully we can get you back on the show when it's time to talk about Arc.
For sure. I'd look forward to it.
But
for now, I'm still here. And I'm not, again, I think I should make it clear that let me reminisce for a minute. So when I joined Asus for media, the reason I did it was that I thought, as a reviewer, my experience with Asus products is that they were the best in the industry, and that if I was going to work for a company doing marketing, I wanted to do it for the best. I still feel that way. I'm still I still have the conviction about that, and I'm gonna cheer you and everybody else on from the sidelines. I'm a GPU nerd, and someone says, come work on our GPU. I'm gonna be like, oh yeah. So that's a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Yeah, for those that didn't know, Jeff was a tech reviewer for a long time before joining Asus, and you've been here for a few years now.
2.5. Yeah.
Well,
it's gonna be 2.5.
Awesome. Well, anyways, it's super exciting stuff, and we're pumped to see what you guys do on that side. But we do have a full podcast ahead of ourselves, so we can jump straight in with gaming news. And we're gonna start with a little brief call out on Halo. Halo Infinite multiplayer came out to celebrate the 20th year anniversary of Halo. Kind of like snuck in there, and people were talking about this before it actually went public, but they're like, people were pretty certain that we were gonna get the multiplayer beta early. This is a free-to-play beta, came out of nowhere, and I've had nothing but a good experience with it so far. It feels like almost like Jeff, how much Halo have you played in your life? Any?
My one Halo experience was back in college, and a friend of ours, I went to Ohio University for a time, and they have a big Halloween party down there. I don't know, some people might be familiar with it. But they have a big Halloween party down there every year. A friend of ours came down, and I was in my brother's dorm room with him. He's like, hey, let's play some Halo. And then I got absolutely stomped on. It was the most frustrating gaming experience of my entire life. I never did it again.
That's hilarious.
So, that's really it. That's all I know. But,
I grew up with three brothers. So any multiplayer game that was like local, that was like 4 players, so I played a lot of Mario Kart, Mario Party, Halo, Smash Brothers. Those are the games I grew up on. GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, and obviously I'm not one that picks up, although I do have an Xbox controller that I just got. Thanks Asus for the Xbox controller. I don't pick up a controller too often. I'm a mouse and keyboard guy nowadays. But to pick up a mouse and keyboard and dive into Halo and have it feel like the Halo I grew up with, but better and fresher, and at 144 hertz on my display, with the game it pushes my 3080 Ti to the max. When I put this game at ultra, it looks awesome. But yeah, I'm having a ton of fun, and I find it to be quite the treat to get this just kind of unannounced, really.
Yeah.
So they're gonna sell the campaign. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, my brother's tried the multiplayer, and he said it was a lot of fun, so I'm going to have to download it and give it a shot.
Yeah, that's the nice part. Free. No commitment. You can play the multiplayer. And they've done a really good, they followed this kind of business model that we've seen Fortnite and many other companies kind of innovate, where it is primarily battle passes, but they have a Halo Championship Series store. HCS is the esports league, and there's a store where you can purchase. If there's a team you really like, you can purchase like a skin pack for their stuff, like for like $10. I bought the Cloud9 skin pack personally, just because it looks really cool. They did a good job making the cosmetics feel cool and feel nice, and yeah, I'm loving it. So expect awesome. Some Halo streams next week on the ROG channel because yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with that.
Yeah.
But speaking of business models and battle pass systems and free to play, Warner Brothers had a game leaked a few weeks ago called Multiverses. It was supposedly a platform fighter containing DC Comics characters like Scooby-Doo, and then Lord of the Rings, supposedly Adventure Time. This is official. They've confirmed it. They released their first trailer for the game today. There's no Gandalf in the trailer though, so I don't know what's going on. Instead of Lord of the Rings characters, we have Arya Stark from Game of Thrones in it, which is cool. I mean, they own the rights. It's Warner Brothers. They own the rights to Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, countless IPs, where they can do this stuff. And they're coming in free to play. Almost like the MOBA business model where they'll add characters. They're going to add seasonal skins and events and stuff like that. Cross-platform. So, and they're putting a big emphasis on making sure the game has a good netcode, which if you've ever played a fighting game online, they don't feel good usually.
Yeah.
So that's the big announcement that stands out to me this week.
Yeah. I've been thinking about netcode a lot recently for reasons we will be discussing shortly, but yeah.
Well, it's something where I feel like when it comes to like internet gaming or anything we do online that's engaging and interactive, netcode is the most inconsistent thing we deal with.
Right. And, because we can't change the laws of physics, we have to deal with the speed of light and networking. So if your netcode's not good, you're putting yourself behind already.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah. Let's talk about, I think,
tech news.
A little bit of tech news this week. So I think the big thing for us is that NVIDIA DLSS, everybody knows DLSS by now. If you have a GeForce RTX GPU, it's okay. Still an ROG employee, can still talk about this without being conflicted. So NVIDIA DLSS is an awesome upscaling technology that uses the AI processing resources of your GeForce RTX GPU to take a lower resolution image and upscale it. And it works really well. I think everybody who's experienced it by now can say that it's just a major performance boost with like almost no visible trade-off in image quality most of the time. So DLSS is awesome. But the nice thing about it is because this is a software model, it's a software neural network model. It's something that they can update over time. And NVIDIA announced this week that DLSS 2.3 is coming out. It's available for developers to implement in their games. And there are a few, I think some of the big ones people are really going to want to see. It's like it's in Cyberpunk 2077, it's in Deathloop, it's in Doom Eternal. It's the DLSS 2.3 update it basically improves image quality and motion. So there will be less ghosting, there will be less like jitter, better particle effects, things that are challenging basically for the model to upscale. And so it's in these games. I think I just listed off a couple, but it's also coming to some older games that I wouldn't have expected, like Rise of the Tomb Raider and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. And Shadow of the Tomb Raider was one of the original games with RTX, with DLSS. It's been a very long time, but I think I personally had kind of written that off. It's like, well, this was the first, this game got the first generation of the technology. It's not going to, be updated, even though better DLSS implementations are available now. So to see that come to these older games, like, oh, this is really cool. I'm gonna have to go re-download that and see what it does. Because like Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I know it got mixed reviews. It was a gorgeous game, in my opinion.
I never played
Tomb
it.
Raider is Rise of the Tomb Raider is one of my favorite games of all time. I think.
I don't think I've ever played a Tomb Raider game.
Yeah, it Rise of the Tomb Raider was epic.
Cool.
So Shadow, that's so I'm gonna have to go back and try that out and see what it looks like. But yeah, it's really cool that, you know, again, this is just something that you're getting for essentially for free if you have a GeForce RTX card. So there's that. Not everybody has a GeForce RTX card though,
right.
and so NVIDIA also came out with a new. Well, it's not exactly new. I think I don't even know. I think it's a little murky to me now. I think back when Radeon image sharpening first came out, NVIDIA also introduced a similar thing for the GeForce overlay. It was just a like an image sharpening option. They didn't really have a name for it, but from what I'm reading, they've improved it and it has a name now. It's called NVIDIA Image Scaling, or NIS. And you can, this doesn't require RTX. It's actually vendor neutral because somebody's already taken the shader, according to Tom's Hardware, and put it in this, toolkit for improving image quality.
Huh.
And so it's vendor neutral. It runs on all hardware. It's just a shader. And it looks good. It's not as good as DLSS, but if it's one of these things where you just want to tweak it, try this thing where, again, people are running at lower resolutions, trying out these image scaling, image sharpening algorithms. It's an option. And yeah, they're making it explicitly cross-platform, open source. There's an SDK for it. So go check that out. More options are always good.
NVIDIA is just kicking butt lately with all their software updates across the board because, like you said, if you already own the hardware, you're just getting better performance and better results with these software updates continually. So it's nice.
Yeah,
it's nice to see that development.
It was one of the things when I reviewed the RTX 2080 and RTX 2080 Ti when those were brand new. People were like, "Well, you can get a GTX 1080 Ti for about the same price." And I was like, well, okay, but it's only like $40 more to get an RTX 2080, and you're getting in on the ground floor of this, this whole potential software revolution with RTX and DLSS and all this other stuff. And it's like, that extra $40, like, you're not going to miss it, but you will always miss out on these new features, right? So that little bit of advice I feel good about all this way down the line, because if you have an RTX 2080 or 20 any like RTX 20 series GPU still, you got access to all this cool stuff basically for free over the life of the GPU. It's still and they're still relevant. So obviously the 3080, 3070, 30 series in general are great upgrades, but we all know how hard it is to buy one right now. So
yeah.
So like if you got a 20 series card, you're sitting pretty because you got it at a good price and you got access to all these features. So anyway, so that I think is the big thing. Update your NVIDIA drivers. Try out some of these new games with DLSS, or some of these games that are implementing DLSS 2.3. You can go over to the GeForce blog and read more about it. But it's really exciting that these games are still getting updated with all this new graphics tech.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to seeing. I mean, I know Whitson would be nerding out about the DLSS changes if he was here with us today, because that's one thing that he's super passionate about in particular, and it seems like each iteration of DLSS just gives us that much more performance, which frankly we need. So many games that are coming out really are pushing even the best hardware. Like I was saying to you, I think this was before we even launched the call or the stream, but we I have a 3080 Ti. I'm not trying to flex. I'm just lucky enough to be able to game on a nice GPU. And Halo, is able to push that to its fullest, and I'm only playing in 1440p. So I would like to get to the point where I can game in 4K. I would like that. But it really just, a lot of these top end games, I would rather play in 1440p, put the game settings at ultra, hit 100 FPS plus. You know, that's I'm only getting maybe 100 FPS at ultra settings on Halo. And again, this is with some of the best possible hardware that's currently available.
Right. Yeah, and I've got a 2080 Ti here. I have a 4K monitor. I use DLSS all the time to tune my performance. So
yeah, it makes such a big difference.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's all the.
That's the
not
a ton of tech news.
Week.
Oh, the one thing I wanted to say is I got an RG Phone 5, and although this isn't necessarily tech news, this is my first time finally getting our hands on the RG Phone, where I know some people are extremely passionate about these phones, right? But I had never had the chance to play with one or try one, and so I had no real opinion other than it looks cool, right? But I will say, if you ever get your hands on a phone like this, once you experience that 144 hertz display on a phone on that touch screen, it is like, I still have my old phone here side by side, and I go back to it every once in a while. I'm like, oh God, why does it feel so bad? And yeah, it really is a big deal. So high refresh rate screen is just such a game changer for phones.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's for a gaming phone, especially if you have a game that can take advantage of it. Unfortunately, not everyone can, because app developers are app developers and they might not implement it.
Oh, of course.
It's for the stuff that takes advantage of it, and even for just general scrolling, it feels so much more responsive and connected and smooth. It's just it's glorious. So
yeah, just really quick, I see people asking about the giveaway. So if you've ever seen our streams here before, we do the giveaways on Twitch. So if you want to participate in the giveaway, you need to go to twitch.tv/ASUSROG. The giveaway is in Twitch chat. You actually just need to type a keyword in Twitch chat that enters you into the giveaway. The keyword will be on the screen in about 12 minutes. But that is how you participate. We're giving away a $20 voucher to gamesplanet.com, which is used to buy things like Steam keys and so on. And it's a nice way to do it region free. So, okay. Jeff, we can dive into our main discussion today, which is going to be VR, but in particular, full body VR. And the reason we made this our discussion is because you just made the investment to go full body VR. So, but let's rewind this a little bit for anyone that's not familiar with exactly what the VR ecosystem looks like. There's generally two ways this is done. There's the base station method, which is what you'd see with an Index or a Vive. That's what I have, I have
tracking. Tracking technology more generally, right? Right. So there's so Steam VR still uses these base stations, these lighthouses as they're called. You basically get two of these lighthouses and set them up in opposing corners of your room, and the headset then senses that signal, and I think that's how it works. This headset gets these laser signals from the lighthouses. The lighthouses don't actually do any data transfer. But the headset uses that information to the headset and controllers. Yeah. The headset and controllers then use that information to sort of figure out where it is in space. And so that's, I guess, what you could call outside in tracking. That's different than what a lot of VR headsets use these days, which is what was called inside out. Like what the Oculus Quest 2 uses, where you have cameras on the headset itself that map your space and see the controllers in that space. And then a lot of computational magic happens, and you get room scale VR without the base stations. Now, you may be wondering, well, if we have standalone tracking, if we have a standalone headset that can do that tracking without any external hardware, why would we do it any other way? And the answer is because some people like me, we want a more extensible VR system, and the inside out can't accommodate that for every use case. And the big one that we're going to talk about today is what's called full body tracking. where you have, in addition to like your head mounted device, which is a source of information, and you have your hand controllers, which is another source of information about, your position in space. That's how we get that's how we get your hands and your head. You can actually, within the Steam VR ecosystem, let me actually grab one of these real quick to see if I can share it. Maybe not that one.
So this is one of the full body sensors you're grabbing?
Yeah. Right. So yeah, you can see this thing. Actually, NVIDIA Broadcast is trying to get rid of it.
It's fighting you.
You can see this thing. This is a Vive tracker.
How much does it weigh? Half a pound?
Barely anything.
Yeah, okay.
It's, barely anything. So this is a Vive tracker, and you can see it's on a strap here. This is like a foot or ankle strap. And what the Vive tracker is essentially just this little sensor that you can attach to yourself. You can attach to like a gun in VR. That was one of the demonstrations at CES one year. It was on the end of a virtual gun prop. But this, people have taken these trackers and figured out how to, like, okay, we're going to use these to find your waist. We use this to find your feet in this space with Steam VR, and suddenly you have this much greater range of body language, of expression, expressiveness that you don't get without it. Because most VR uses, just kind of uses your head position to figure out the rest.
Yeah,
and your feet just kind of get dragged along, and it can look fairly convincing, but it's
at
not
times,
the real deal. Yeah,
and like we can talk about games like Beat Saber where you're pretty much stationary, and it works pretty well for like just your legs spread apart, your arms flailing, and then your whole body moves with that. But once you start moving beyond that range of motion is when that immersion really does falter quite a bit.
Right. And this is something I think, I've streamed VR stuff in the past, and I've sort of done it, without the benefit of, mixed reality, I guess you would call it, where I'm pointing a camera at myself in the real world, and then you're just sort of seeing my first person camera on stream. And that works, but it's not, it feels disjointed.
Yeah.
It's not super interesting to watch, and something I've wanted to do for a very long time and can now do is, essentially full body VTubing with this setup, where I am in Beat Saber with this full body tracking, and it's so if you're streaming that, suddenly you can dance, you can jump around, you can like lift your feet up, and you can make running motions. It's so much more engaging to watch that than it is.
Yeah, because I actually streamed some Beat Saber over the weekend, and I don't have the full body tracking, and I choose my avatar to be All Might from My Hero Academia because I thought it'd be hilarious.
Nice.
And so I've got All Might like walking around, but sometimes I'm like doing some weird movements, and All Might looks like his neck got broken and his head's looking straight up, and it just looks so goofy. But it's pretty amusing regardless. But you're right, you're trying to achieve more of an authentic, like, full body language experience with VR, which is this is the tool required.
Yeah. So I'm using an original Vive. Excuse me, I'm tripping over myself. I'm using an original Vive right now, but I'm actually getting a Index in this weekend.
Oh, nice. You didn't get it yet, but
and so that adds another layer to the experience, because again, this is old news at this point. I'm kind of getting into this because I had a bunch of online friends get into VR chat recently, which we'll talk about. But seeing the Index can actually track your fingers as well, like your finger movements. Like it will show what I'm doing right now in
there are streams.
VR.
There are streams of someone playing piano with the Index controllers, right? Like that's a real thing you can do, because there's a piano in Half-Life Alyx. You can play that piano if you have the Index controllers. Really cool.
So again, I guess the point of all this is as I guess VR chat is kind of the thing that's really got my attention right now, and because we, again, I've got a group of online friends I hang out with who've been using it to sort of get together, and the folks who have full, I mean, that was actually what motivated me to go full body, was like seeing that in action. I was like, oh my god, this is so cool, I have to have it. And the folks with that, the folks with the index controllers who can do this, they can gesticulate with their hands convincingly. It's just like so much more immersive, and it really it feels again so real in a way. Is kind of spooky because yeah, I mean, back, and again, I would never have imagined this kind of social experience where you would care about this sort of thing when I first got into VR, because again, like 5 years ago when we first started playing with the Oculuses and the Vives of the world, it was all single player experiences.
Pretty much exclusively, with a few gimmicky, like crappy shooters that the funniest part was to walk up to someone and take the ammo, the magazine out of their gun and like throw it at them, and you're like, haha, you have no ammo left. But
but yeah, I mean, and I think, and I was peripherally aware of VR chat over the years, but I was like, why would anybody want to do this? It's like the Omegle or the chat roulette of virtual reality. Why would you ever expose yourself to random people in VR, because you might get exposed to it's like,
awful
why
things.
would you ever do this? Why would you ever expose yourself to random people on the internet in general?
The primary question, the answer I'd give you is curiosity, but
yeah, but I mean, I'm a child of the early 2000s internet. I don't need to be bullied and or insulted, by randos. So, but so I kind of wrote this off.
Become the bully, Jeff. Then you're good.
Well, yeah. Well, I guess for better or for worse, I don't have that in me. But I'd kind of written it off, and again, until my friends got into it, I was like, what's the point of all this? And now the light has been opened, or my eyes have been opened, and it's actually, again, we talk about right now, the pandemic has done such a number on our ability to socialize in person. Thankfully, that is kind of ending, but like the ability to get people into one space and talk and like have that richer experience of socializing is limited.
Yeah.
And again, one of the really astounding things about VR chat is like if the immersion is good enough, like it feels like you're in the room with your whatever your friends' avatars or whatever. You really do kind of slip into this notion of, okay, well, I'm just here with these folks, we're hanging out, we're talking. It does feel pretty close to a real world interaction, and being, again, the benefits of full body are that you get to see these little instances of body language that really sell the whole experience. Like, when I'm standing, we're playing like a game of mini golf or something in VR. I'm standing in the middle of my room, we're doing room scale. I'm shifting my weight from hip to hip, right? And if I didn't have the waist tracker, you wouldn't see that. But it was just something I was doing subconsciously, and somebody pointed it out and said, well, wow, this is like, it really does feel like I'm standing here with you, just because I can see your entire body going.
That's cool.
Right. And it's like, it's one of those things you would never think about unless somebody pointed it out. So yeah, I mean, it's just, again, it's just a really cool platform, these really cool experiences.
Obviously, full body VR is incredibly inaccessible in terms of cost, and benefit is super niche. So like, this is something that you really have to want, in terms of you're either like the VR chat experience has to be something that you really want, or you want to implement this into rhythm games, which are the main things that are going to take real advantage of this. But I just want to know, like,
again,
how go ahead. You go ahead. Okay. All right. So how intelligent is like VR chat? Because I'm thinking of this full body thing. You're in this virtual environment. This virtual environment doesn't need to feel like reality, right? This is its own reality.
Right.
So like, if you were to sit down in a chair in real life, does the game understand that you're in a seating position, and can it build a chair for you digitally, or are you just sitting in a seating position floating?
So it's not quite that smart.
Not yet. Because that to me sounds like a day one item they should have. Like,
what happens is you sit down and you assume a sitting position in VR. Like, it's smart enough to know that.
Like sitting on the ground, or.
Well, no, I mean, just sitting in your office chair.
You're just
like, if you're just sitting in your office chair.
No, but if you're sitting in an office chair, what does your VR character do? Is he just floating with his like the strongest legs in the world? Like this?
You just float. But so here's the flex. Here's the flex of VR chat. There's worlds with what are called colliders and chairs, and things that let you interact with stuff like couches and chairs and stuff, right? And like if a world is not configured with that stuff, anything that looks like a chair, you might not be able to sit on it if you don't have full body tracking. But if you do sit down with full body tracking enabled, regardless, you assume that seated position and it looks like you're sitting on whatever, and so you can sit on anything. And someone in the chat asks, I want to be able to be on my bed and in VR at the same time. Well, you can do that. You'll look like you're laying down. In fact, one of my favorite things to do over the past couple days is like, okay, I'm just going to find a flat surface and lay on it. And,
yeah.
So it really does enable this range of different experiences with that you would never think of. But once you see it in VR, like you see your character doing it, it's like, oh, this is so cool.
Okay.
But yeah. I would sit down all the time. It's like, okay, I was in a group chat recently where it was, again, person's world didn't have like these chair colliders in it. I was like, oh, well, there's a couch here. I'm just going to sit down and position my character on it anyway. And then everybody without full body is like,
if I tried to do that, like my headset would be like spazzing out. It'd be going nuts. It would not react.
Yeah. Right. But, so again, it's just really cool, subtle things. It's like, it makes it worth it.
So
there were a couple more questions as well.
So one of them was do you expect the future VR to be just continuing on this technology, or do you ever think we'll get to the Sword Art Online neural uplink like plug-in?
I can't possibly comment. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, fair.
I think I have.
What do you want? What do you want? Would you pay money to have some kind of hookup in the back of your neck or in your ear? No, you would not. I would. I think I would.
I'm extremely. That is a societal epochal shift that I am not ready for, and hopefully will not have to consider in my lifetime, because I'm frankly not entirely sure what I would do with it.
There's a book series called Otherland. If no one's ever read it, I don't want to spoil it for you, and basically the idea. It's a network where these guys wanted to live forever, and they wanted to basically upload their brain digitally to like a world, or whatever world, or every world, right, where you just can do stuff. That is the hell I want to live in for the rest of my computer existence.
So something we can talk about. Someone asks, the future of VR, will it be more CPU or GPU processor intensive? And the answer is certainly GPU.
Yeah. That's
it's absolutely going to be the GPU. One of the things back when this was all new, I think Raja Koduri, who's now a chief architect at Intel, I remember him saying in a presentation, basically to achieve like real world immersiveness, you need 16K per eye. Right,
we're a little bit away from that,
you need like 16K. You need 16K per eye if you're going to render every pixel natively.
And for real life immersiveness, we need 16K per eye, and then we need about 480 frames per second.
Something like that. I don't know if it's that bad.
It's like,
So this is not to say that the technology will ever happen. It's just sort of a statement of the challenge, right? So this is absolutely a GPU problem. It's absolutely a GPU problem. Like, obviously CPU matters in that instance as well, but it's absolutely a GPU first problem. And this is like where technologies like DLSS and I guess Intel XeSS will be interesting, is because it's not a cheat exactly, but it's finding ways to paint all of those pixels without actually having to natively render each and every one. Because like the GPU you would need to render 16K per eye at 120 frames per second it's sort of inconceivable.
Yeah, we're ways away.
It's beyond the limits of current technology. So, but yeah, like, it's absolutely a GPU problem.
Maybe if we SLI 8080 Ti's, we'll be good. We're a few years away.
Maybe if we can ever get SLI working properly again.
Yeah, right. Doesn't it work with 3090s?
So, and it does, but like no games can take advantage of it.
Okay. We're gonna close the entries to the giveaway. And we're gonna draw our winner. This giveaway is being done on Twitch chat live as we speak. God__complex. Please type in chat to claim your $20 Games Planet voucher. God Complex. You have been selected as our winner. We will do one more giveaway at the end of the stream with 2 winners at the end of the stream. He says, "OMG, congratulations!"
OMG, congrats!
All right, we'll send you a message after the stream containing a $20 key.
So, but yeah, I think so. The interesting thing. The shift I've had personally, having experienced this now, is, I frankly was sort of I kind of had this jaded, dyed-in-the-wool hardware reviewer perspective about a lot of this stuff. Where it's like, okay, well, the only thing that
just crusty old tech reviewer is like, I'm sick of this.
Yeah, so it's like, well, I'm going to look at the resolution of the headset. I'm going to look at the refresh rate of the headset. Nothing. It's like what type of display technology is in the headset.
Right. That's how I would shop for a headset.
Yeah.
Right. The same exact mentality.
Right. So if it's the resolution's disappointing or the refresh. Excuse me. I'm trying to yawn and cough and God knows what else at the same time. Let me take a drink here and recompose myself.
But I mean, obviously, if you're shopping for a TV, you're shopping for a display, you're shopping for these things, what do you look at? You look at, well, the resolution, you look at the refresh rate, you look at those key items, color.
Right. Yeah. And so again, this is because I was looking at this from a first person experience perspective. I was like, well, that's all that matters. And if you're getting 90 frames per second with the Vive or 120 with the Index or whatever, that doesn't, this is all that matters, right? This is all that matters to the experience. It's like I had looked at the Index controllers when they came out, and it's like, well, this is a cool technology, but what would you ever take advantage of it with? And now it's like, oh, okay, I'm using the original Vive with the original Vive ones and this full body tracking thing. It's like, oh, well, it doesn't really matter that the headset is first generation in only 90 hertz and like the resolution's fairly low per eye. There's all this outward expressiveness that you can do with it in VR. This just, I frankly had never thought about before, but now that I've seen it in action, people have seen it in action on my streams, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is so like cool. And so now I'm like, oh, well, if you're thinking about this from the perspective of someone who plays VR chat, or you're thinking about this from the perspective of the metaverse, the metaverse more generally, it's like this kind of physical, this kind of presence is, I think it is, I guess, again, I might be behind the curve here and everybody else might have already come to this conclusion, but this is just me. If this is the future where we're headed, like this is a dimension that I had not considered, and I think it's really crucial going forward. And this is not to say that like the Vive trackers are like the only way forward. It's like every time you want to do something in VR, this is not necessarily the way of things going forward.
Yeah,
you have people out there experimenting with Kinects. To get this kind of tracking.
So multiple cameras from different POVs can create a similar effect to this. Technically, I've got cameras here and here, right? And technically, I could set those up and with software and get them to track my body movements. And obviously, I mean, just the last thing I'll say is we look at how they do movies and special effects, the suits with
right.
all the little balls. That's
All the mocap, yeah.
for
All
that.
the mocap.
For mocap to be accessible, like for like a mocap suit to be like a thing that is accessible for someone to buy. That's what I see as the potential future for people that really, really like this.
Yeah, if it needs it at all, because like the Kinect didn't need that, and so like we'll have to. I mean, again, these are experimental days with this.
Of course, yeah.
But yeah, and again, I guess more generally, like this has also made me start thinking more about. You know, we hear a lot about the metaverse right now because you know that's what Facebook is kind of pushing.
Sure, yeah.
And like, but it's so that view, given what the VR chat right now feels like the early web to me. Like it's sort of this wild west of people just creating the wildest stuff. Like last night, it was in a world. It was just basically a giant ball pit. And all the balls were all the balls are physics enabled, and you have these these physics objects in the world, basically jet engines you can stick into the ball pit, and get these big fountains of
So let me just ask a question about VR chat. My knowledge of VR chat is Ugandan uncles, and this is the way that's my knowledge of VR chat. I've seen that video. It makes me laugh. That's it. Is it like you get to pick, like people generate their own worlds and you can just go and like hang out and like socialize there? Are there like games and stuff to do within these worlds? Like
oh yeah, absolutely. So there's entire like someone recreated the opening scenes of Breath of the Wild even in VR chat. And so like you can go stand in that world, you can go kind of play it. It's not like the full game, but it's wild stuff. Again, it's sort of this wild west where people are just creating these worlds. You can create instances of them with groups of friends, go in and just do whatever you want basically. But it's really wild experimental stuff.
Can I be All Might?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You can be anything you want.
I'm downloading VR chat.
I am sure somebody has made a public avatar.
I found one of Beat Saber that made me laugh a lot. VR chat free. Okay. All right.
As long as I can... someone says, so we will talk to emojis instead of normal video call. Makes no sense. I don't know how many times over the past year you felt the stress of trying to pretty yourself up for the camera, or like find a clean pair of pants or whatever else that day when you needed to be on a video call. It's actually really freeing to be able to just step into a character who is 100% presentable every single time. And
do you guys remember that court video? There was like a Zoom call and there was the old man in Texas that was a cat for the video. I'm not a cat. Like that. I wish he was a cat because it's way more fun.
It's like it's way more fun. Be the cat. Be the cat. Especially for streaming too. Like DDR streaming, I have to like make myself presentable. I have to wear clothes. I have to be presentable. For VTubing, for this whole VTubing thing, it's been like really freeing because I was like, I can just I can play Beat Saber or Audio Trip
and not worry about it.
And like take this might distress some of you to think of this image, but I can play with my shirt off. I just have my gym shorts on, standing in the middle of my office with the fan going. It's really easy to stay cool. I don't have to care about how I look. It's actually really freeing and relieving not to have to worry about that. It's like I don't think this is so weird, and
well, especially a game like Beat Saber, because like while I'm not necessarily playing shirtless, I am gonna get a good workout, which means I'm gonna be covered in sweat, which isn't the most charming look in the world. No, some people might want to watch it, but not I see where you're coming from absolutely here.
Yeah, so it's like, so again, like if you're gonna, so here's the thing. I think if you're like the vision of the world that Facebook is sort of proposing is like, we'll have virtual avatars of quoting quotes ourselves, in that world. And like, that's just, it's like, if you're already going to abstract yourself like that, why not be anything you want?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, how many people in our company have a photo as their avatar in their profile that isn't their face, right? It's a cat, it's an anime character, it's an RG logo. And that might not be true for everyone's company, but that's how it is here.
Right. I mean, it's like we're already like expressing ourselves through these alternative means, and it's like it's not a stretch to just say like,
I remember one of the guys that interviewed me had Snoopy as his image, and I was like, really? I'm getting a call from Snoopy right now, like.
I mean, it's just like the pandemic is changing or has changed already these standards of what is professionally presentable, and it's like it doesn't have to be. I mean, again, this is, I guess, the capstone thought for this whole thing. I think VR chat has sort of shown to me, it's like the world this virtual world, this metaverse does not have to be this sterile, cold, like, oh, we're just humans but slightly different sort of version of things. It's like let's embrace the weird, right?
Yeah. No.
You can again, if you can be anything you want, why would you not embrace that power?
I mean,
right?
Someone in chat, and Drox just typed, "Live the dream. VR is the opportunity to do it. Love the idea in the movie Ready Player One," and that's exactly what it is. You can be whatever you want to be. You can do what you want to do. It's and
like what this has shown to me is we are actually closer to that reality, minus the dystopia, I hope, of Ready Player One. We're actually closer to that reality than it seems. It's just really, really exciting. I'm almost bouncing in my seat.
We look at the rate in which technology is progressing, and VR is a very young thing. I mean, the very first VR headsets became publicly available in 2013?
2016, 2017.
Oh wow, yeah. So even younger than I'm thinking, like 5-6 years old, for this tech to be out in the open. And we've seen drastic improvements to, from the very first like Vive to the Quest 2, which is standalone, doesn't require a PC to be used. Obviously, you're going to get better performance if you hook this up to a properly powered PC. We were talking about how the GPU is going to be the main driver when it comes to the quality of the performance, and all of that. But phones are a big part of why this technology is moving as fast as it is too, though. You think about camera sensors and phones being half of this technology. We're seeing AI development, increase everything in phones.
I think again there was a time where it's like phones going into headsets was a model of things, and that has clearly died in favor of the standalone headset.
Yes,
but those mobile processors.
Well, I'm just saying the technologies that are used in phone oftentimes can translate well to help.
Well, that's exactly what I'm about to say. It's like the Oculus, the Quest 2. If you use it in standalone mode, it runs on a Snapdragon mobile processor like the ROG Phone 5.
Which is a beast.
And as that technology continues to improve, you're probably going to see better standalone headsets. You're going to see these mixed reality these augmented reality experiences. I'm just really, I guess this has reinvigorated my interest in VR, because to be perfectly honest with you, my Vive, my Rift, before this, they were in boxes in my basement.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in a similar position when it comes to VR. Like, I played Half-Life Alyx, and I do sincerely think it was one of the best gaming experiences I've ever had in my life. I think Half-Life Alyx is an extraordinary game, but my desire to use this like 8x10 space that I have for VR is I'm gonna run into those barriers, and then it's gonna kill the immersion, and I'm gonna have to reassess that. And there are many people without a space this large for VR, and there are a few people that actually the maximum space that the Vive works with the single base stations is 13 by 13 feet. If you want to get additional base stations, you can for a larger space, but who's committing a 25 by 25 foot room to VR in their mansion? That's who. rich people, right? Very few, very few people are able to do that. So for when it comes to the VR, and what I'm interested in is cockpit VR, things like racing games, Star Wars Squadrons. Someone in chat mentioned Star Citizen. I would love for them to get to that point, but they need to make their game work, period, first. And stuff like that, but then you have all these other problems of, okay, the hardware I'm using, the flight sticks in my case for like a flight sim, I need an exact replica of that in VR for it to work. So then you need to consider things like mixed reality, mixed reality where you can, maybe hit a button and it turns the camera on so you can see your hands, right? Stuff like that to help with that. But it's good to hear that your experience with the full body tracking gives you hope and gives you excitement, because that gives me hope and excitement for progression here.
I think, again, I think the takeaway from all this is that everybody's focused on resolution. Everybody's focused on refresh rate. It's like there are other, if we say that we have achieved sort of good enough, like in the case of the Index, I don't think there's a better, there are some headsets that are better in some ways. Like HTC's Vive Pro Eye has eye tracking. There's a lip tracker you can add to it, to further integrate yourself into that VR avatar experience. But it's like, okay, if we say that the headset is good enough for now and we're going to improve these other things, there's so many more exciting possibilities than just like, make the screen sharper and faster. Like there's just so many more exciting possibilities than that. And I'm really, again, this has sort of reignited my passion for it. It's like I really want to see these other things develop and get more accessible and improve the expressiveness of the medium. And I just think that's a cool, underappreciated possibility.
So
Androxius Gaming asks, is my room as gamer looking as my fake background? Yes, this is a fake background. The answer is no, it's not. You can see if I turn off NVIDIA broadcast, it's a pretty bare white room. That's my DDR pad over my shoulder, standing up against the wall. No, it's actually not a green screen. It's NVIDIA broadcast. It's a fake green screen. It works really well, but that's that's what the room looks like. It's pretty spare. It's pretty Spartan. It's a white room.
You got to get the gamer room. You got to slap RG logos and everything you own everywhere.
You got to get those. Got to get the holographic displays. Yeah, we got to get the holographic displays and all that other fun stuff. Once they invent those, I can make it happen. But for now, it's kind of
okay. So one thing I wanted to say is, you were talking about just VR as a social platform, not just a gaming platform. And I'm thinking, what kind of activities are kind of popular, and we got to think about who's interested in VR. And typically it's going to be people on the nerdier end. We will see, I hate to use the term normies, but I'm going to say normies. We'll see normies pick up an Oculus and have some fun with it. They're going to do their walk over the plank and jump off, and they're going to do their boxing. And one of the Masons that was just doing some work on my house was talking about his Quest 2 that I got and how he and his daughter box, and that's cool.
Wow,
but I think things like Dungeons and Dragons, where you have the option to have multiple people in the same room, or you can just do it remotely, and the board itself is like a living, breathing thing. Like bringing the one of the oldest forms of nerd gathering in the world in D&D and bringing that to VR, that sounds like a cool social experience in a way that is practical with the tools that exist today. Right.
Yeah. Because I could imagine someone making a VR chat world that's essentially like a Dungeons and Dragons toolkit, where it's a table, but as your game progresses, the dungeon master has access to all these events and objects and stuff, and
those tables exist. They're really cool, but you're restricted to playing with people locally with that. Right. With VR, you can do it digitally.
Well, that's what I mean. If you're in VR chat, you can have all these people, you distributed group in a world, with a DM.
That is cool.
Controlling that experience over it's sort of an emergent experience over time. with everybody in character, because everybody can make the avatar that they want. And that would be super, super cool, actually.
Yeah. Magic the Gathering.
I can't make it happen.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
But yeah,
like,
Magic the Gathering. Yeah.
Yeah. It just Pokemon. Like, come on, that sounds so fun.
Right.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, I'm just so excited. You know, again, once you bring the social element into it, it's so exciting. It doesn't have to be this cold, sterile, well, we're just going to have our meetings in VR.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's so boring.
Yeah.
Like, that's so boring.
let's do, like, what do you want to do today, guys? And another thing that I'm personally really excited for, especially with Valve being one of the companies pushing hardest for VR technology, is further VR integration into viewing esports. I think that's for sure. That's really cool. Even if it's just like sitting in a fake theater and watching the esport with other people that care about it, that's interesting to me. Because sometimes you just want to, get really immersed and plug in.
But yeah, I think at the end of the day, we do need to wrap up. But I've never felt like this pumped about
That's
VR,
awesome.
the possibilities of VR, and in like all the years I've been covering this. And so it's like, I'm like, okay, this is the, this is the VR chat is kind of the killer app in a way.
I'm going to have to.
And stuff like it is sort of a killer app in a way. So I'll have to invite you in sometime.
How many people
you can see it for yourself?
I mean, if I just ran around yelling Smash, Connecticut Smash, LA Smash, all these different things as All Might, would that just be a normal day in VR chat? Are there people that are just
in public worlds? It may very well be. Okay, you just go to a hub world and start doing that, and people would probably mute you pretty quick. But,
excellent.
It's. I don't think that would be that out of place.
Okay.
So go nuts. Be yourself. If that's what you want to be, you go do it.
Who doesn't want to be All Might? Like, come on. If you guys have never seen My Hero Academia, he's the best. The end. Excellent anime character. But yeah, it's funny because I found a lot of different avatars to download on Beat Saber. And I found a Solid Snake one, which obviously, if you read my gamer tag, is, modeled after Solid Snake. I was like, hell yeah, Solid Snake. This is perfect. The avatar was about a third of the size that it should have been, so his arms got really long to play Beat Saber. So imagine this little tiny Solid Snake with these super long arms, like waving the sabers up into the air. It looked really dumb, so I couldn't use it. But it made me laugh. But I mean, you can be a Gundam, you can be Gypsy Danger from Pacific Rim. I mean, you can be whatever you want.
You can be whatever you want.
Who doesn't want to be a Gundam? I'd rather pilot a Gundam than be a Gundam.
That's a possibility I had not considered, and
See?
I will now have to consider it.
Robots and mechs, and like you can be an Ava. It's like, okay. Yeah. Or you could just be Shinji if you want to be a lame little Ava pilot. Okay, we're letting you guys get your type Halo into the giveaway. Halo, great game.
But yeah, my index comes Saturday. I expect my entire weekend will just be
awesome.
Consumed by that as we get it set up and do the real full body experience for the first time with the hand tracking and everything.
Yeah, so that's exciting times. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we're gonna do it. Closing the entries in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Entries have been closed. Picking a winner. We're going to get 2 winners. Spawn 4EG. Spawn 4EG. Winner number 1. SPAUN 4EG. Spawn, are you with us? Here. Winner number 2. JD_MCC. JD was waiting for the stream to start. That's a true fan. He was waiting in chat for the stream to start today.
There you go.
All right, congratulations, guys. Sweet. Our winners of our $20 GameSpot adventures have been picked. Tomorrow, we are supposed to be streaming Battlefield 2042 and giving away keys for Battlefield 2042 on stream. However, I got my COVID booster shot today, and we're gonna play it by ear. If I am, if I'm, I don't know what's gonna happen. I might feel fine. I might have no reaction at all. But I know that when I got my vaccine the first time, it kicked my butt, and I was in bed for 2 days. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see. We're hoping to be live at 3 p.m. tomorrow, but if we're not live, then we will just do the giveaways and the Battlefield stream on Monday next week. Because that's got to play it by ear. But yeah, look forward to some Battlefield giveaways on the Twitch channel. If you don't follow our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/AsusROG, hit that follow button. Regular streams will be streaming Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week, as it is a holiday week. Jeff, this is your final pulse with me, and we've been doing this together for 1.5 years now. I'm a little sad. A lot of sad, actually.
It's really bittersweet. I'm not gonna lie.
It's not goodbye, obviously.
No, it's not goodbye. It's more of a see you round. Yeah, it's more of a see you round.
In VR chat.
In VR chat. It's God damn it, I'm gonna cry. It's been really fun to take this from nothing to this great community. Frankly, that we've all helped develop in our own little way, and it's been really fun, and it's been really I guess it's really brought me out of my shell, because when we started this, I was this extremely anxious bundle of nerves.
I remember before we hit live, you trying to pump yourself up, and I want to say, you have learned the ways of being on camera.
Right. And I think it's brought me out of my shell. It's really boosted my confidence. Awesome, I would not have been able to do this without if you hadn't been pushing me. So it's been really fun, and hopefully we'll be able to do this again sometime in the future. So.
I think so. I hope so. This show, this stream, it's going to be a lot different without you. It wouldn't be what it is without you. So I thank you sincerely.
Thanks. I really appreciate that
for everything.
Thank you. It's been great.
And I need to respond to something in chat really quick. Hold on. We're having this tender moment, but if there's ever an opportunity for me to show off my Star Citizen gear, I got 2 of these bad boys. I do dual stick and foot pedals for Star Citizen streaming. I admittedly just got this properly set up last week, and will be doing more. So it's twitch.tv/SolidJakeGG if you want to see some space sim streams in the coming weeks. But someone had brought it up. I had to throw it in there. Fun stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I showed off my space. You can show off your sticks.
I'm not sharing. One for each hand. But Jeff, I mean, it has been a lot of fun, and we'll definitely do some. Does Stepmania have versus online? Is that a thing?
I don't think it does.
Beat Saber does. We can battle in Beat Saber.
Beat Saber definitely does. That would be really fun. I've got some friends who have already wanted to do that, and we could do that sometime for sure. I've been looking at your scores on the charts. I'm a little. I'm not sure I could keep up, but I'm definitely going to work on it.
Oh man, my scores are public. I didn't even know this.
Yeah, well, we're Steam friends, I think. So that's how we see each other.
Okay.
So
I'm not bad. I'm not bad at Beat Saber. I'll say that.
So Carabinal Gravit says, so what happens to the end of the Back 4 Blood campaign playthrough? Well, I mean, you never know. I mean, I might be able to Join and like do it unofficially. Like Jake's had friends on.
Yeah, we might have to wrap that up on our personal channels or something, because frankly, there's just too many good games to play. Like my desire to play Back 4 Blood when I could be grinding Halo. I'm grinding Halo, guys. I'm sorry. Like I am into Halo, and if I had to choose, like that is going to be my game to play right now.
If Jake makes the call, I will respond.
Okay. All right. So it's on me, and we're going to make it happen. We will at least kill that boss, right? We just have the boss left. We did everything but the final boss in Back 4 Blood, which is admittedly, a horrible place to end. Like, by the way, buy the game yourself if you want to see how it ends. But
no, Androxius, my channel is
Yeah,
my channel is my username here. Hi. Bodacious Cowboy.
Yeah, he just typed it. So if you want to follow Bodacious Cowboy, that's Jeff.
Yeah. If you want to find me, you want to see me do, you want to see me doing this stuff,
VR
go
chat.
For it. Yeah. Well, not VR chat,
Rhythm
but
games.
at least rhythm games.
Rhythm games. Cool. He does a lot of DDR. Top DDR streamer in the world, potentially.
Not the top, certainly the most watched when I'm on, probably, because like Stepmania is
you heard it here, best DDR streamer in the world.
No, that's not, oh my gosh. Anyway, it's kind of a barren category, but we usually get 20 to 25 people watching, which outside of one guy who's like has hundreds because he's a big Instagram fitness influencer. Certainly one, maybe the second most popular DDR streamer on Twitch. That's an achievement I can be proud of.
No, you can't be proud till you're number one. Beat that other guy.
Yeah. Well, if I ever get that ripped and can play shirtless and people are watching primarily for the eye candy,
isn't that against terms of service on Twitch? Like,
not if you're a dude.
Huh? It was at some point.
Not if you're a dude.
There was a point when you could get an infraction on Twitch for wearing a tank top as a male or female. It didn't matter. So now we just do hot tub streams and the like. Yay. Tune into the Asus RGB hot tub stream next week. Just kidding. I'm just trying to get people's attention. Guys, all right, that's gonna do it for us, Jeff. Again, it's been a pleasure. We're gonna miss you.
It's been a lot of fun. I will miss this quite a bit. Certainly one of the favorite aspects of my job. So thanks everybody for being an awesome community and supporting us and hanging around and all that fun stuff. And keep watching because there's more cool stuff to come. And Jake and Whitson and the team are gonna kill it. I know that. So yeah.
GG's.
I'll be cheering you on.
My crappy little hand heart. I'm bad at this, but I'm trying.
I can't do it either.
See you next time.
There. Wait, no, that's a square. Whatever. It's fine. Forget it.
GG's.
Later all. GG's.